Angel Reese versus the Brazilian national team. The Chicago Sky against that team at LSU.
The drama surrounding Angel Reese and the Chicago Sky has reached a fever pitch. In a league that's no stranger to controversy, player drama, and seismic locker room shifts, what just happened may go down as one of the most polarizing moves in WNBA history. It all began with a quiet decision by new head coach Tyler Marsh, one that completely reshaped not only the Chicago Sky's offensive system, but also Angel Reese's place within it. And when word got out that Camila Cardoso would now be the focal point of the team's interior game, with Reese pushed into a supporting, perimeter-oriented role, all hell broke loose. For months, Angel Reese had been positioned as the Sky's breakout star, the queen of double-doubles, the rebounding machine who brought grit, charisma, and massive fan attention. Her debut season wasn't flawless, but it was electric. Games where she racked up 15 or 19 rebounds made headlines. Her presence made jerseys fly off the shelves, and her tenacity earned her respect, till it all changed. Without warning, Coach Marsh announced a shift in strategy. Reese would no longer anchor the paint. Instead, she'd be stepping out to operate, as a stretch four, focusing on mid-range shooting. Her bread and butter, putbacks, rebounding dominance, physicality near the rim, was suddenly deemed expendable. The post would now belong to rookie phenom Camila Cardoso, who was coming off an impressive international run with Brazil and drawing praise for her polished finishing skills and size. The Sky's internal decision went public just before an exhibition game against the Brazilian national team. Almost immediately, social media caught fire. Reese's fans were livid. How could a player known for her presence under the basket be pushed away from it? Was this a strategic call or something deeper, something calculated, even personal? The numbers, however, told part of the story. Reese had been shooting just 39.1% from the field. For a player whose entire offensive output came from the paint, that percentage was alarmingly low. Her release was slow. Her shot selection, clunky. Though her hustle was never in question, her efficiency raised eyebrows behind the scenes. Meanwhile, Cardoso, while raw, brought a different kind of presence. Taller, smoother around the basket, and with better touch inside 5 feet. Her upside was visible, and for a rebuilding Sky team, the decision seemed to offer a new kind of promise. Reese didn't take the news well. In fact, she didn't report to training camp at all after the role shift was announced. While most players might take such a decision as a challenge, a chance to expand their game and prove doubters wrong, Reese chose silence. And that silence was deafening. Fans interpreted her absence not just as disapproval, but as betrayal. Rumors began swirling that she was refusing to participate in protest. Headlines speculated about her possible trade demands. Hashtags like Free Angel and Justice for Reese began trending. Her fan base was ready for war. What made the situation even murkier was that Coach Marsh never publicly confirmed the details. Instead, much of the narrative came through beat reporters and insiders, citing anonymous sources and cryptic quotes. One article in particular, which focused on what Reese needed to work on, fanned the flames by framing the shift as necessary growth, an evolution that Reese allegedly resisted, and with that, public sentiment fractured. On one side were the traditional basketball analysts who viewed the decision as smart. In their eyes, Reese's offensive limitations were holding the Sky back. The WNBA was evolving, and players needed to stretch the floor, not clog it. Reese's inability to hit jumpers, reluctance to pass back out of the post, and one-dimensional scoring hurt ball movement. If she wasn't willing to adapt, the team had every right to prioritize someone else. On the other side were Reese's loyalists, millions of fans who saw her as the future of the WNBA. To them, this wasn't strategy. It was sabotage. They believed the league, still adapting to its newfound fame, was uncomfortable with the type of power and attention Reese attracted. They claimed this was about silencing her, dimming her star, and elevating someone more marketable to traditional audiences. To them, Cardoso wasn't just a talented rookie, she was a corporate-friendly replacement. And that narrative, once born, took on a life of its own. The conspiracy theories were endless. Some fans speculated that Cardoso had been strategically brought in not just for her skills, but to diminish Reese's role from the inside. Others questioned why Cardoso's rise happened immediately after the Brazilian exhibition. Was it a coincidence? Or had the staff always planned to crown her as the centerpiece? Meanwhile, sports media couldn't get enough. Pundits debated whether Reese was being punished for her outspokenness or protected from the spotlight as her game developed. Headlines read like tabloid covers: Sky Civil War, Angel exiled, Reese vs. Cardoso, battle for the paint, and all the while, Reese remained silent. Her absence from training camp spoke volumes, even as her own social media stayed mostly quiet. No rebuttal, no clarification, just a void where her presence used to dominate. If this was a test of character, many wondered, was Reese failing it? From a basketball standpoint, the shift wasn't entirely unjustified. Reese's rebounding was elite, yes, but her offense needed polish. The modern WNBA thrives on spacing. The paint can't be clogged with players who don't stretch defenses, and Reese's tendency to take multiple attempts for a single bucket without passing had become a liability. In one analyst's words, that's where possessions go to die. Still, few could argue with the fact that Reese had elevated the Sky's brand. Her arrival brought fans, sold tickets, and revived a sleepy franchise. Her personality, her flair, her fearlessness, it was magnetic. And while numbers may win games, charisma wins culture. Losing that, some feared, would cost the Sky more than they realized. For her part, Cardoso stayed above the fray. She didn't ask for the drama. She simply showed up, played, and improved. Her teammates praised her work ethic. Her coaches appreciated her coachability. And as she settled into her role under the rim, it became harder and harder to deny that. She brought value. Maybe not Reese's brand appeal, but a kind of silent efficiency the Sky desperately needed. Yet the firestorm wouldn't die. As training camp moved on without Reese, demands for her trade grew louder. Fan accounts posted mock trade proposals. Some suggested sending her to Atlanta or Los Angeles, teams with bigger markets and more traditional post usage. Others said she should retire from the league entirely and focus on building her media empire. She didn't need the WNBA, they argued. The WNBA needed her. But in truth, the moment called for something else, something Reese hadn't yet done: growth. Because beneath the outrage, the hashtags, the conspiracies, and the culture war lies a simple truth: basketball evolves, and players who want to lead must evolve with it. Angel Reese, for all her talent, cannot dominate this league on rebounding alone. If she wants to be a franchise cornerstone, she'll need to expand her game. That means developing a jumper, improving her footwork, passing out of double teams, becoming the type of player who commands respect, not just headlines. The path is there, but it's up to Reese to walk it. As of now, Coach Marsh has stayed quiet. The front office isn't commenting. The team is moving forward. And Angel? She's at a crossroads. Does she report to camp, face the challenge, and prove everyone wrong? Or does she continue to stay away, letting the noise define her? Either way, the league is watching. So are the fans. And the WNBA, which is still writing its next chapter, will have to reckon with this story. One that exposes the tension between talent and system, brand and performance, rebellion and discipline. Angel. Reese isn't finished. But this is no longer about how high she can jump. It's about how far she's willing to grow. Enjoyed the breakdown? We want your take. Should the Sky have built around Angel Reese, or was Coach Marsh right to pivot toward Cardoso? Was this a basketball decision, or something more calculated? Drop your thoughts below and make sure to subscribe for more deep dive narratives, untold WNBA stories, and dramatic twists straight from the hardwood. Because in the game of basketball, what happens off the court is sometimes more explosive than what happens on it.